Last night at about 2 o'clock in the morning, Blue Origin launched this rocket, the New Glenn rocket. And oh man, look at that. We're well on our way to putting people in space, right? Manned space travel, whether it's sending people to the moon, sending people to Mars, or outside the solar system, is really a really hyped up technology concept. And I feel like an outsider being skeptical over this stuff. I do not see I have trouble seeing the appeal of why we need to do this. And I'm not going to make this zero sum proselytizing over, oh, we could use that money for something else or use these resources for something else. That's not the situation here. It's not about allocation of resources. It's about why in the world do we want to do this? And in some cases, why in the world do we think that this is necessary? So I have conversations about space travel. I mean, maybe 10 years ago when SpaceX really got going, we were talking at work at lunch the one day about it, and I guess they had a pre-registration list. It might have been Musk or somebody. You could sign up for, to be on the list to go to Mars. And there was a person sitting there who was all excited about this. He's like, yeah, maybe I'm going to sign up. And I just laughed at this and I said, good luck, hope it's a good time, because I can tell you that I'm not going. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads, like I was from Mars or something. Why would you not want to go to Mars? That sounds like a really cool trip, right? And I could sit here and talk for 2 hours about why I wouldn't want to go to Mars. Why I wouldn't even want to go to the moon, right? So first of all, we have these conversations about putting people in spacecraft and launching them and sending them wherever. The situation is like something's missing when we have these conversations. The biggest thing that's missing is an appreciation for the things we have on Earth. And maybe if people got into spacecraft and they started flying to Mars, maybe we would have a better appreciation for what we have on Earth. Because right now, when I talk about something like manned spaceflight, people say, well, we have to develop manned spaceflight because we're screwing up the Earth, and we have to go somewhere else so we can survive. And I just tell them, like, so you think that rather than fixing the things that we're doing that cause problems on Earth, rather than stopping doing the deleterious stuff that we do on Earth, you're saying that we should put people into metal tubes and launch them into space so they can go screw up some other place. It's easier to do that. I have a really difficult time with that. I think that that's a very short-sighted philosophy. Out of all the challenges we have on Earth, like, what are the things that, human beings fight with each other? Okay, you got wars going on here and there. We have fewer of those now than we ever did in the past. Everybody talks about the Ukraine war and the war in the Middle East. But the reality of it is that humans have fewer armed conflicts today in 2025 than at any time in history, right? There's evidence, data out there that shows that. The other side of it is, okay, you send people to another place. Are they going to fight with each other? Yeah. Are they going to have politics? Yeah. Are they going to have religion? Yeah. Are they going to like blue and you like green? Yeah. So the situation is that, the other things we have going on Earth is the number one, probably the most cited item here is climate change. What's climate change? Well, it's human beings changing the atmosphere such that it absorbs infrared radiation and causes an upset of the energy balance of the Earth. Can we fix that? I have conversations with people who probably you would assume, based on their personal politics, would be all about fixing the problem of climate change. But in reality, they approach it as a nihilistic, we can't do anything about it, so fuck it. And that's ridiculous. So you're basically saying that you can't do anything about it. So your alternative is to put people in metal tubes and launch them to other planets. Which one's easier? It might just be an issue of we don't understand how we can deal with environmental problems like climate change. Maybe we don't realize that we have the technology. We have far more developed technology to deal with earthly environmental challenges than we do putting people into space flight and supporting their life. We are far more advanced at fixing the things, with the things that we need to fix the problems on Earth, than we are at putting people into space and shipping them to other planets, or other bodies in the universe. A lot of the technology that we need to send somebody to a place like Mars doesn't exist. I mean, you're talking about putting somebody in Mars and you have to somehow get all the resources that they need to live a reasonable life there. That's a really, really hard problem. Earth already has everything we need. It's already here. The atmosphere is set up to support human life. It shields us from radiation, provides the right amount of oxygen. It has the right pressure. We have water that's abundant. Even if it's salty water, we have the technology to easily desalinate it. That's a very, very basic problem versus getting water on Mars or the moon. We have an environment full of biology that basically cleans it up for us. When we take our coffee in the morning and we run to the bathroom 20 minutes later, how many of us think about where that goes? Where's that going to go when you're in space? You're still going to shit when you're in space. It's not going to stop. They're going to put a cork up there for the duration of the flight. That all has to be dealt with. And on Earth, we have a lot of luxuries that would be taken for granted in space, or that are taken for granted that you don't have in either a space vehicle or another planet, or moon, or other body. There's a lot of things that we have here that make it a lot easier to exist. And we think we have so many problems. We think we've got all these issues. We think we can't fix them. If we think we can't fix them and the solution is to put people in space, I don't buy it. Every problem that we think is intractable here on Earth is easily fixed. We have the ability. We know exactly what we need to do. We have all of the technology that we need to do it. It's not a lack of ingenuity. It's not a lack of technology. It's a lack of ambition. It's political fighting. Maybe we do need to send somebody into space and put them on a ship that ends up breaking down 4 months out to Mars, and we'll realize how good we have it. in the history of manned spaceflight, there haven't been that many accidents in space itself. You had the two space shuttles, Challenger and Columbia, but those were lost in the atmosphere on launch and on re-entry. They were a failure of the rocket itself or the vehicle coming back. We haven't had, when Apollo 13 was in dire straits, they pushed through. If they hadn't been able to build that CO2 scrubber to clean the air, maybe we would have a different opinion about life support on Earth. Realizing that the atmosphere provides us with all this stuff that we just presume is going to be there. So whenever we talk about going to space, I always ask the question, why? Because when you really, really think about it, when you basically take the Star Trek and the Star Wars and the sci-fi and you push it all aside and you look at the realities of being a human being and all of the services that are provided just naturally, it becomes like, that doesn't look like such a fun idea. Okay, we fight on Earth about the foods that we eat, the carnivore diet. I keep hearing all this stuff on social media about how great the carnivore diet is. Anybody who's going to space, you cannot have a carnivore diet. It is thermodynamically infeasible, if not physically infeasible. The energy balance is such that it's not going to be possible. When you consider the fact that you have to produce all of the calories that go into growing the plants, that then the animal eats, that then gets cut into a piece of meat, and all the losses along the way, you're talking about fractions of a percent efficiency. That is unacceptable when you're in a metal tube or you're going to a planet that has no resources and you're relying upon a nuclear reactor generating electricity, powering grow lights to grow some crop that then you're going to feed to an animal, that then you're going to butcher and you're going to eat that. And you're going to lose 99.7% of the energy. We take that for granted here on Earth. But in space, maybe we need to learn that that's not going to work. Maybe that's what we need. If there is a value to manned spaceflight, it's for us here, people, to realize how good we have it. But sending people into space as an excuse for not fixing problems on Earth is bullshit. Because it's a lot easier to fix what we have than to try to make new somewhere else. That's basically it. Yeah, rocket science is cool and all, but they're not really doing much other than, hey, we broke gravity, we got outside the Earth. Okay, cool. We have a probe here. We can we're really good at that. We're really good at electronics. We can put a probe and send it billions of miles away. The Voyagers are still talking to Earth. That's neat. Do I want a person doing that? I'm not going to be the person, I can tell you that. I don't know why anybody would be crazy enough to do it, but that's basically it. That's where we'll stop for the day.